Just want to hop on real quick and do a recap of the Asia trade I took last night. I'm going to start trying to look at Asia session a bit more with my work schedule, just to see if I can't find trades in there. I know movement is a lot less than New York or London sessions, but just want to see if I can't find some trades somewhere in there. Last night we were able to recap that here. I am in replay mode just to show kind of what I was thinking in the moment, and then at the end I'll have a quick recap video of the actual live trade. So hopping on, I started on the 15-minute chart last night and looking at this push down here. I measured this move looking for equilibrium of that push, and represented by the red line here. So I knew we were in a premium based on this range at this point. Secondly, I realized that there was a 15-minute bearish fair value gap also above equilibrium, represented by the purple box here. So after I kind of had this, I was like, okay, we're in a premium. We've just tapped into a 15-minute bearish fair value gap, and so I just kind of started working myself down the time frames from there. Next up was 5 minute, and this is actually where I based the trade off of. You can see here, I got to change the state of delivery there on the 5 minute, with a fair value gap on the 5 minute just above us. So what I wanted to see here was the close below this blue horizontal line, the change in the state, followed by re-entry into this bearish 5 minute fair value gap. The measured move is based on the -2 standard deviation here, which is this leg up here, and we'll see how that kind of plays out in a second. So once we got the close below the change in the state, I then began to drop down time frames from there, looking for an entry back into the fair value gap. Typically I drop down to the 1 minute from there, and I've been really trying to dial in my entry. So once we begin to tap back into the 5 minute fair value gap, I work my way down the time frames even more, drop down to a 15-second chart. Now that we've re-entered the 5 minute bearish fair value gap after the change in the state of delivery, indicated by this blue line here, and you can tell I'd already kind of looked at some of this with my drawings already there. It's just to speed this up, make it more clean. We push deeper into the 5 minute fair value gap, and we're also looking at time. We want this to be somewhat close to the macro, which would be the 750 to 810 time frame. So we're getting close. We're at 747 here. We've got another price run up here. Alright, we had to change the state of delivery on the 15-second chart, because we know time is fractal. The same principles that we apply on the higher time frame apply on a lower time frame as well. And this is just to help dial in and get that more precise entry. So once we tapped into the 5 minute bearish fair value gap, dropped down to 1 minute, and in real time I dropped down. The 1 minute was based on the entry. We do have a 15-second change in the state here, followed by a bearish fair value gap, so we want to enter as close to that as possible with our stop loss at the high. And now we can zoom out to the 1 minute. We're targeting -2 standard deviation. This trade took quite a while to completely play out, which is new to me. And I think it was because we were in the Asia session. So we'll just kind of watch this play out now. Their target was hit. One thing to note is you can see price action began to clean up a little bit once the macro hit, but it was actually just after it bled into the next hour's macro, the 850 to 910, before the trade really began to expand toward the target. I actually ended up entering on the 750 to 810 macro and had to hold over until the 850 to 910 macro before the target was hit, which again is quite a bit more time than what I'm used to having to stay in a trade, but that may be what comes with the Asia session. That was kind of my thought in this trade. It worked out. Like I said, took a bit longer, but that's okay. And now I'll show the actual live trade.